as you all know, instruments having, the strings, just like a guitar and its strings, it needs a constant tune up for the melody, for the sound to sound harmonious and beautiful. And it's the same with us beings. We need a constant attunement to refine the melody, the sound of divine, so that we can taste upon the sweet nectar of God, the sweet nectar of divine. So these practices where we disengage from the external worlds, and the external worlds is not only the physical, and the external worlds are also all the energies, all the emotions, all the thoughts, and also including your five senses. And you go within and you rise up through your own vehicles of consciousness into divine. This brings a certain higher attunement, but just that alone would create, let's say, a certain sharp focus in your third eye, which may, as a result, bring some disbalance. So as a way to balance out, you may bring some bhakti into your life, some practices of the heart, yes, devotional practices. If you're sitting down and inquiring only, who am I, who am I, who am I? If you're just doing that practice, you might realize how dry you're becoming. You've lost the heart. And so even the most advanced spiritual lineages, they focus on divine. They focus on, this absolute immersion. Many times these masters, they do not engage in this reality because it's such a temporary reality that it's not even worthwhile wasting all your energy to something which is of a temporary nature. So utilizing this life and utilizing all the energy towards divine nature is something that is never going to be lost. Even if you die and leave this body, so to speak, die, of which you do not die, but you carry with you all that you have practiced, nourished, and matured into, evolved into. You carry that with you. Every time you sit down and you meditate and you connect or immerse yourself with divine, with God, every time you grow in that direction, that's never lost. That's with you always, always and forever. So certain practices may seem a bit, let's say, drastic, to fully disengage from reality as we see it, from all the distractions that bring us out and away from our divine nature, which includes all the entertainment of life. Experience is all entertainment. I mean, everything you distract yourself with, it's a distraction in that moment alone from your divine God nature. So, according to one's, deep seeing of the importance of, giving all that you are, including everything of all the energies towards divine, fueling that, well, that would be very wise of you to direct all your attention to divine nature. So in many spiritual paths and quite advanced paths, they know the importance of chanting, of devotional practices, of chanting the names of divine, chanting the names of God, as a way to open your heart to divine and bring divine in your life. So one aspect is, sitting down and meditating and going deep within and disengaging, redirecting your focus to that which is absolute. And the other part is to focus on your heart and open your heart and sing and chant the names of God. And this is why these mantras are very powerful. They are charged with a lot of intention, and the sound of every mantra is like a radio station. It's attuning and connecting with a certain plane of existence, a certain dimension, with intention, with direction, even in opening your heart and chanting these beautiful songs of God. It's also something that I encourage you to bring into your life, into your day-to-day life, until there is not one moment when you're forgetting God within you, until you're fully immersed and merged with God at any given moment. So these are very valuable practices that they are all available for everyone. And just like a message to everyone is that we are so familiar with relating with the mundane, and we're so familiar relating with emotions and relating with thoughts. It's such a relationship, isn't it, that we have created with the lower realms. And yet we have forgotten to create a relationship with God within us. Where is the relationship with divine? How do we bring a relation? How do we cultivate a relationship with divine in our day-to-day lives? So by redirecting your focus and attention and going within, beyond all entertainment, beyond all distraction, you come back to yourself. And if you are able to move through life from your true self, then it doesn't matter what you're doing. It really doesn't matter what you're doing. You can be doing or not doing, it doesn't matter, as long as you move from a place of divine within. So the bhakti path is a very beautiful path as well. It's the path of the heart, and it's the path of surrender. It's a path where every moment is an opportunity to let go. Every moment is an opportunity to surrender to that deeper unknown, because that deeper unknown will bring you to that ultimate truth and ultimate love and ultimate bliss within you. Because the surrendering process, the path of the heart, it's a very beautiful way of not needing to know anything, not needing to understand anything. It's just that whatever is here, are you willing to let it go? Whatever is here, are you willing to lose yourself in this moment over and over and over? So it's this very beautiful strength that surrender is. It's not a weakness, it's a very, very powerful strength. Because in the moment when you find yourself cornered or held or suffering or in pain, are you willing to let that go? It's quite a test. every challenge that comes, it's quite a test. Are you willing to just drop it? Give it to God. Give your suffering to God. Give your suffering to divine and see what happens. Because many times we're addicted to the suffering. The suffering, limitations, they have become a part of who we are. Thus we're addicted to it. We're addicted to complaining. We're addicted to judge this and that. See, we hold these things, we keep them as ourselves. And then the message of divine is, are you willing to let it go? Are you willing to surrender yourself, surrender your position? And you surrender within you, you surrender to divine in you. Yes, it is an internal process that happens that doesn't come from the mind. It is not an understanding, can I let this go or not? It's an internal process of dying. That's how it feels like. It's like a death. It's an ego death every time, isn't it? And the ego mind is very powerful and strong because you've subscribed to it forever. Every lifetime, you give into it and you subscribe to it, and thus it has become a power that has taken over your soul and your spirit and your divine nature. So at first, and even at any time, it's challenging, yes, to rise above the mind, to rise above fixations and say, am I willing to give this up? Am I willing to surrender? Am I willing to give my suffering to God? And then you see the dynamics. It's like, this is mine, I'm the one suffering. Try to hear me out. Try to understand me. Listen to me. How many times conflicts happen in relationships, friendships, family. There's two minds fighting with one another. There's two minds trying to hold the position. Look what happens in the world. Look at the conflicts in the world. Look at the divisions in the world. Because the mind is present. The mind looks at the differences and judges the differences, and my way is the only way and your way is not the right way. See that the mind is the conflict. So once we begin to surrender those fixations of what we believe is right, when you give it to divine, say, here, I can give this up. And that is experienced as a death. But what is dying? What is dying? Something old is dying. Something conditional, something of a belief that is dying. An identity is dying. It's not your nature that is dying, isn't it? It's an identity that is experienced as a death. But that's a beautiful thing to experience, because every time that death is experienced, once again, there is much more closeness, much more truth, much more unconditional love. So devotion is a beautiful path to bring into your life and learn how to cultivate a beautiful relationship with divine within you. Many beings can be very supportive. You may start connecting with certain beings or certain masters or certain beings that simply know that they're inspiring your soul and supporting your soul to remember yourself. Yes, to remember yourself. So unfortunately in the world, we do not see a lot of role models, isn't it? On the social media, on TV, there's no role models that one can look at and inspire and say, maybe this is the highway, this is the higher way. Nowhere you look around and see that. You have to find out. You have to relearn and find out. You have to bring divine nature in your life. You have to bring heaven on earth. You have to do that yourself. You have to find how to do that. To find how to build this relationship with divine, first you have to disengage from what you've been entertaining yourself with. It doesn't mean that entertainment is bad. It's not bad. But for the sake of returning back home, at first you have to disengage from what you've been so entangled up with. Once you're clear in yourself back home, then without engagement, you can still be a part of everything. You are in the world, but not of the world. You're in the world, but not bound by the world. It's very different. To see and analyze the dynamics of how the mind functions, and also to learn to choose, to say maybe, well, I can allow this to be here, and how about I attune with divine, and I allow that all to be as it is. So our focus and attention really plays a big part in our lives. And many times people feel powerless. It's like, oh, I'm not feeling so much love, or I'm feeling like this or like that. But yes, change it, redirect your focus and attention. And so to sum this all up, this is why we have all these meditation practices, because they are our tools, our way of navigation to keep tuning to our higher vehicles of consciousness. Because our higher vehicles of consciousness, they are already 100% aware of everything. They're all enlightened. The higher vehicles of consciousness, they have no trauma, they have no distortions, there's no programming. It's all already perfection, divine, and beauty. It's all that it is. It cannot not be, because it's coming from God nature itself. It is only when the vibration and consciousness drops low and lower, it's where it becomes more and more distorted. And that's what we see in the world. The lowest level of distortion, so far away from the absolute beautiful nature of God. So we meditate and we familiarize. We keep familiarizing ourselves. We go beyond and familiarizing ourselves with that which is ultimately you. It's not something out there or something to reach in the future. It's already available to you, and you just simply have to reclaim it and own it, but it's not owning it as keeping it. It's like returning back to the ultimate power of love, of light, of God, and wisdom.